Hello, the voice is starting to come back. This is good news. It's another homeschooling day today. Today is homeschooling at home up to a certain point in the afternoon. Then we're going to spend a couple of hours in the park with some other local home educator friends, and then Izzy has a class at the sports centre. So today we have most definitely got to stay on schedule, otherwise we won't be able to fit any of that in. Izzy is highly motivated, as you might imagine, because she loves hanging out with her friends, so she's cracking straight on with her maths as usual. I will always link any details of courses and materials in the description below, so you can always find it there. I'm doing my usual thing now while she's in her maths and Portuguese hour, which is to just crack on with tidying up the kitchen and the house a bit. Always good to try and keep the level of chaos down a bit. Okay, so the housework bit is not something that I find that fun or actually keep on top of that much. Yes, I am drying clothes in my front room. I am really trying now though this academic year, because I think it will save time in the long run if I just keep everything tidy. My poor old flute has been so neglected this week. I'm a flautist, by the way, in case this is your first time here. I've had a cold all week, so I haven't been able to practice, and I've got a gig on Friday, which is in 2 days. I haven't practiced all week, haven't been able to sing all week. I'm supposed to be doing backing vocals. I've just been trying to rest it, but I'm going to have to do a bit of playing today, or I'm going to be terrible at the gig. Luckily, though, I'm finding that as Izzy's doing a lot of these things, she's doing a lot independently now that she's older. I'm sort of setting her off on things and she's going upstairs and doing it. And this is working out really well, being a self-employed musician, because it's freeing up little chunks of time throughout the day when I can concentrate on little things that I need to do, like practicing my flute, writing out music, housework, whatever, you know. So it's actually not as all-consuming as I thought it was going to be a few weeks ago before we started on this final phase of the GCSEs. Hooray! Washing up all done. And I have got a new addiction. I have to tell you about this brand of coffee I've discovered. This one. Now, I thought I'd get this as a bit of a cost-cutting exercise, you know. I thought, well, I won't get Lavazza or anything really posh. I'll get Tesco's own Italian-inspired coffee. And oh my goodness, is this the nicest coffee I have ever had in my life, or what? This coffee is nicer than Starbucks, Costa and Cafe Nero rolled into one. Not sponsored, but I really like it, so I'm going to make some now. Well, kind of. I tend to have a bit of a mix of calf and decaf. This one's not as nice as this one. This is Tesco's as well, I think, but I don't know which brand it is exactly. That on its own is the best, of course, but unfortunately it blows my head off, so I half and half it with that. I'm going to put these clothes out to dry in the little yard since the sun is actually out today. That's the advantage of these types of dries, you can just grab the whole thing and take them in as one if the rain starts. Something really unexpected just happened. See all this mess here? Well, I was just opening the fridge to get the milk out when I heard this crack noise, and it sounded like glass cracking, so my first thought was it was one of the shelves in the fridge, so I tried to give them all a tap and they sounded like they were intact. And then I went to put the milk in, and lo and behold, there's coffee all over the counter. And it was this mug. It's got a crack in it. Look, it's cracked all the way down there and right across the bottom as well. Can you see that? I've never, ever, ever had a mug do that before. Wow. And in other news, we have deduced that Izzy is still definitely allergic to grapes, in spite of not being allergic to lots of things, as long as she's on her medication that she's on. But no, grapes, they're going to have to go back out of her diet, but that's okay, I will eat them. If you're new to this channel and you don't know our backstory, Isabel has suffered from very, very severe chronic eczema from birth, and up until about 1.5 years ago, she was on the most restricted diet. It was horrendous. It was low salicylate if you want to look that up. Basically almost anything she ate or drank or breathed in would just cause this all over red blotches, which would then crack and split, become infected, etc. So it's always been a constant battle to keep that under control, which was the initial reason for homeschooling right in the first place, nearly 8 years ago. But due to turning 13 and becoming eligible to take a different type of oral medication, that has absolutely revolutionised her existence, and she's been eating almost anything. But we have got a little bit complacent. She's been eating grapes. We've been not putting two and two together, but now we finally realised it's the grapes. She seems to be alright with raisins though, just not grapes. Very strange. Izzy's had a little problem with her maths today. She needs an XY button to do her work, and there isn't one on this calculator. I'm going to need to investigate that. She skipped on ahead to the next lesson instead, and she's going to come back to it, and hopefully that won't be a problem. It's after lunch now. We've just been doing a little bit of history. I've set Izzy off. She's writing stuff about the Weimar Republic, the Spartacists and the Free Corps. It's stuff to do with the formation of the government in Germany after the First World War. So that's what she's doing right now. And I have been drawing blanks over the calculator. I've been doing quite a bit of investigating. I've emailed Conquer Maths to see if they have any advice. That's the provider of Izzy's maths course. I've messaged a maths teacher who's going to get back to me later, but she's advised me a particular calculator model to get. I've tried ringing my dad, see if he could tell me what buttons are on the calculator, which is her real calculator that she's left there, but he's out all day. And I texted IB, who's a maths genius, and he suggested downloading an app in which you can just use a stylus to input the function keys rather than pressing a button. But I don't want to do that because she won't have that in an exam. So what I'm going to do, just pop down the local shops now while she's working on her history and see if I can find one with the required buttons. Dunno, I've got one for £3. I can't believe I just forgot to take my camera down the street, but never mind. I'm going to give this a little try through the packaging to see if it's the right one or not. I'm going to go and fiddle around with it and have another look at the lesson and see if it's the right one. The reason I'm keeping it in the packaging is if we need to take it back, they'll accept it back as long as it's pristine and it is packaging, so I'm being sneaky about it. Yes, it is the powers button. Then where on earth is the powers button on this one? Anybody know? Just let me know in the comments, that would be really helpful. Good, we can take this out of its packaging then. It's amazing how cheap they can make these things these days, isn't it? And it's probably not good, to be honest, because they probably exploited people down the line somewhere to produce this. It's very lightweight though, very handy for travelling. Perhaps this could be the travelling calculator from now on. Fab. It's lovely and ergonomic compared to the other one. Izzy's going to love it with her small hands. Good old works. Is the manual. I might actually hang on to this, I think. I'll keep it in the maths drawer at the bottom. Her history is done. Time to put that away. She's just quickly putting her kit together that she's going to need for her class later on at the sports centre. Her English again. She's still working on her end of chapter assignment for that, which is independent work. It's been a really big surprise to me so far, these 3 weeks of homeschooling GCSEs, how little I am needed to sit with her while she's getting on with her stuff. I've never home-edited this way before, so separate from her. It really is more like facilitating at the moment. Yeah, anyway, so I'm just going to get a few bits of snacks and things and drinks ready for the park. She's going to do 1 more hour, as you've seen. I'm going to try and do some flute practice during that hour, since she doesn't need me. I'll be accessible, you know, if she needs help with anything. The chapter that we read through and sort of engaged with, there's some little exercises to do as part of the chapter as well. They kind of just recapped over all the key stage 3 stuff about forming characters, describing words, adverbs, setting a mood. One of the exercises she had to do early on in chapter 1 was to think of a couple of characters in a book that she really liked and then look through the book to find paragraphs that described them, and then she had to pull out the adjectives and a very particular sentence that she thought was quite good. So that was quite useful for finding things in a familiar context. And then she could have a go at describing these imaginary characters here in the pictures. None of this is for marking by the assessor. It's the end of chapter 1, I think, that will be assessed externally. So I've just looked at these with Izzy. After that, they were talking about settings, describing scenes and the mood of the scene as well. And again, they had some activities to do. Had some pictures of scenes, so they could really use their imaginations on that one. Talking about different types of language to use, using different verbs, you know, replacing everyday ones with more interesting ones. Oh, and sensory language as well, describing how things feel. There were a couple more little practice exercises to do. And it talked about plot, and also it talked about planning as well, making a list. Now Izzy hates planning her stories, she really objects, but she did it for me. Again, they had some practice exercises of just planning as well. And then there's the assignment, and that's what she's been working on since last week, in which she will be putting into practice all the things that she's learned throughout that chapter that I was just describing. Greaseproof paper and an elastic band. I'm trying to experiment with more environmentally friendly sandwich wrapping. We'll see how this fares in the bag. And it goes. Will we find later that all the butter is stuck all over the crisps and satsumas? We shall find out. We've managed to finish on time. In fact, we finished 10 minutes early because Izzy has finished her end of chapter assignment and it's been emailed off for the tutor, so we'll see what she says. It'll be our first time we've ever done that. Now we're off to the park. We've had an absolutely lovely time in the park. 4 girls, 3 parents, lovely chat, and we're heading off now to the sports centre. It's the early evening now. I've been practising my flute down in Flute Cave. That's the cellar. Izzy is due back at any moment from her class. She's going to come back on foot. I'm going to get the dinner on, but thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Do give the video a like if you liked it, comment down any thoughts below, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.